Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Movie Storytime. How have you been? It's been a minute, you guys. How are you? This is Stephanie, a new YouTuber based in Abuja, Nigeria, West Africa, bringing movie story times to you on the YouTube channel Evermore 1993 as one word. Evermore 1993 YouTube channel. On this channel we talk movie reviews, movie story times. We just added a new segment called Event Rundown. Check out our episodes on that. And also love, life, gist and all whatnot. It's a brand new channel. We're still navigating our way, but we've got some things on lock, and one of them is movie story times. Today we are speaking on the American film named Hustle. Hustle, the 2022 Netflix American film. That's our topic today on Movie Story Times. Welcome. Wow, how has your week been? I hope you've been amazing. I hope you've been good. I hope you've been loving on yourself. I hope you've been putting God first. You've been considering others a lot more than you used to. The world needs a lot more love, you guys, a lot more kindness, a lot more selflessness. So I hope you've been applying, even if it's a little bit, to more of your actions, your words, your intentions, your thoughts. If not, then you're welcome to do so next from today. Yes. Welcome. So, our movie of today is a sport movie. Yeah, it's a basketball film, you guys. It's been a minute I watched a sport-focused film. So I was really excited to watch today's own after seeing the trailer and seeing what it was about a little bit. Adam Sandler is in this one. If you all know Adam Sandler, he's a comedian, really established movie producer, literally has his own movie production company, has a lot of movies produced by him, has his own entire portfolio, of films and whatnot. So this was really exciting to see him do LeBron James. Yes, LeBron James, the newly minted basketball billionaire. Yes, black basketball billionaire. We have another one, guys. Yay! So he has a movie production company. He runs with his partner Maverick Carter, named Spring Hill. So with this production company, he did there's this other film. It was more of an animation movie. It was also a sports film, like a remake and a continuation of the first one that was done, I think 10 or so years ago. Really can't remember the name right now. It also came out either 2021 or 2022. So this is also him continuing with his movie production, and I guess for now he's maybe focused on basketball movies since he's a basketballer himself. So this movie is a basketball film, and he's part of the producers with his own production company, and it was done for Netflix. So you can find this one on Netflix, guys. The name Hustle once more, and it's an American film. Okay, so this movie opens with, Adam Sandler. He's a scout for the basketball team 76ers, and so they send him out to different countries to scout out new talent, people to add on to the team, people to bring on for training before adding to the team and whatnot, because they're trying to win a championship. So they feel like they need fresh talent, and maybe it's best to look outside the country of America, for the fresh talent. So he's going all over the world. He's going to every continent you can imagine. There's even a scene filmed for the Senegal basketball team. He goes there to see their team. He goes to China, he goes to Russia and whatnot. And the scene opens with a really funny scene. Like he goes to this particular country to see this guy play, and he's really good and he's really tall. And so, of course, as he comes in the basketball court, he's seeing the guy play, and he's already intrigued because he sees the guy is really good. So after the play and whatnot, he then proceeds to ask the man about everything, like, are you straight? Are you 22? Because if you're not 22 years old, you can't really go in the NBA. The age restriction is 22, and the man says yes, he's 22. And you're looking at this man, he don't look 22 at all. So Adam proceeds to ask him, okay, so do you have a birth certificate that proves that you're actually 22 years old? He goes on to say it was a big fire that like burnt off his birth certificate. Just whilst Adam Sandler is still trying to wrap his head around that, his kid comes in the court. And this kid is literally more than half this man's height. And if you know basketballers are 6 foot and above, and his child is more than like half his height, looking full grown. And so Adam proceeds to ask him, okay, so who's this? And he says, oh, it's his son. He says, okay, your son, how old is he? This man proceeds to tell Adam that full grown man with beard is 10 years old. It was really a funny opener scene for sure. So Adam looks at the man, looks at his kid, and I was like, okay, you guys think I'm joking here, and he just leaves the room, the court. So he really meets so many different scenes, like with the Senegal team. There's this particular guy he was eyeing for, to take with him, but like on the court, the guy wasn't really performing. He pulls him aside after the game to like speak to him on it, and the guy is high on weed, you guys. So he's not even hearing anything that Adam has to say. And Adam is like, you can't do this in the NBA. We like need you to be alert on the court. And the guy is too high to even hear what Adam is saying. So Adam just walks away shaking his head. That's how that guy lost out on his opportunity, the Senegal dude. And so in China in the Chinese team, they literally put this guy to play with children who are shorter than him. So he's literally scoring all the points. And the kids are struggling to even touch the ball. When Adam sees this, he just stands up and he just understands that this is not even a game. There's a different team he goes to, and the guy has anger issues. He begins to fight the coach, begins to fight, I think, the person who's the referee. Adam shakes his head and is like, this one can't even stand. If at this level of competition you can't like restrain yourself and have self-control and control your anger, how much more in a more competitive like environment like the American basketball like scene and everything. So one thing that stood out to me was whenever he came to watch somebody play, he wasn't really only just looking at the person's talent. He was also looking at the person's character. Like, if the person doesn't score a point, how does he react? Does he fight his teammates? Does he fight the opposing teammates? Does he fight the referee? Does he fight the coach? Does he even fight the people who pay to come watch him play? Like, he wasn't just looking for talent, he was also looking for character. And I think that's really refreshing in a world where that makes it seem as if, oh, your character can suck, but just be really good at your job and nobody will be able to say no to you because they'll have to suck up to the fact that you behave badly, but you can deliver on the job. But with him, he prefers you to both deliver on the job and be a great like company. Like, your character should be good too. So yeah, it's something that really stands out for him. So he has this list, of the people he had to go all over the world to go check. So he struck out everybody because there's something that he just didn't like about every single person, left to one guy. And this particular guy really doesn't blend in with his teammates. If he doesn't score a point, he gets really upset. The character thing wasn't there, but the talent was really there, and he's the last name on the list. So he reports to his team leader, the sports chairman, the sports team chairman. And of course, they're arguing over it and everything. Like, he's back in, Philadelphia, where the 76ers are. So he's back at work. He has to report what he has gone for. He has to report on all the athletes he met and why he thinks they are good, why he thinks they're not good. So the son of the owner of the team is also like an executive in the company. So he's also at this meeting, and he has a different mentality on things. He believes more in talent than character, probably because he himself throughout the film didn't exhibit any form of character. So he was pretty much rooting for people like him. Let me just say that now. So whenever Adam would speak about character and the fact that yes, this person could score points, but he's not good in the character and it will catch up to him sooner or later. The son is over there just watching it down and making it seem like he's not being serious, or he's being too serious, or like he's being a warmonger, a war mummy or whatnot, At the end of the day, the owner of the company chooses to go with Adam and chooses not to sign this guy that is really good on his talent but really bad on his character. And the leader just, takes him on a ride and is like, you know what, stand up for what you believe in. Don't just cower because somebody else is backing at you. Stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for what you think. Don't just let other people bully you into what you don't want just because that's what they want. He was really speaking sense into him and then gave him a promotion. And this is the promotion that Adam has always wanted in the film. He always wanted to be a coach. He didn't really want to be a scout, because being a scout, as they showed in the early stages of the film, he was always away from home. He was always Skyping or video calling with his wife. He always missed his child's birthday because he's always out of the country. He's always eating junk because you can barely settle in enough to figure out what is good enough to eat. He's always on planes. He's always reading and writing and watching back footages to be sure of what he's reporting back to his team, to be sure of his decisions. So it's a really lonely and what's the word I'm looking for? A hard job to do as a married man with a child. I think that kind of job should probably mostly go to single people. Not trying to shade single people, but it's a lot easier when you don't have a daughter to take care of or cater to, a spouse to take care of and cater to. So the fact that he was married with a child and he was still on the road all the time, like they showed him in different airports, different hotel rooms, like it's crazy, different planes going up and down, just this guy all over the world trying to find the best unknown and unsigned players for his team and whatnot. So it's a really tasking job that took him away from his family, and he really didn't like that. He really missed a lot about his family, and he wanted like a permanent job that he can come home every day to meet his family from and go to work from home, that kind of job, a routine type of job. And being a coach provides that. He lives in that Philadelphia as well, so it wouldn't have been tough for him to do that instead, and he always wanted that, but I guess he had to probably fulfill what his boss wants first before he gets what he wanted. So after the boss gives him this pep talk and he agrees, the boss takes him to the office meant for the assistant coach and shows him, the office, and tells him, congratulations, this is your promotion, you finally get to be an assistant coach. And the guy, Adam, is really, sentimental, he's emotional, he's like, this is what I've always wanted to be a coach and everything. So yeah, it's a really cool scene, but the thing is, the man dies that day. Just as he gets home, he gets on the radio and hears that the man is dead, and there's already a funeral. The man's son, that is the characterless person, takes over as the person in charge with the team. It's a whole thing, guys. So long story short, of course that guy didn't like him because his dad always sided with Adam. So he didn't really like Adam. So he was honestly just looking for an opportunity to throw Adam right back out in the field, away from him. That way he can rule as he wants, because of course with Adam he can't do as he pleases. So he just finds an excuse and tells Adam to go back out into scouting. And Adam would not want that. Like, he's missed his child's birthday for 9 years straight, according to him in the film. He would really like to be home more now that his daughter is a young adult, and whatnot, and be home for his wife too, like, and everything. But this guy is not hearing what Adam has to say. So Adam is right back out in the field. He's there to find them another star, and he stumbles on the star. The person he's out in Spain, or was in Mexico to meet. Okay, Spain. He was in Spain to meet a particular guy, and the guy was out on injury and he wasn't told before he arrived. So upon arrival, he's hearing that the athlete is supposed to see play. He's not even going to play because he's out on injury. And he's like, okay, so why did you let me come all the way here? And he's like, you know what, is there a place I can go play basketball? And as they show him the spot, he's going there and he sees a crowd of people, youth everywhere, very vibrant, cheering on who they like. And he just stays to watch, really curious. Okay, who's playing here, And it's really youth from the neighborhood, so they don't really have any structure to their game. They're not really trying to be in the NBA or anything. They're just playing the game that they love out in the streets, and people that are there are also supporting the teams that they want. So he sees this really tall guy come and really slam a lot of that ball in the hoop and everything, and he's really blown away by the guy's talent and everything. After the guy is done playing, he proceeds to chase the guy, and it's a whole thing. He tries to, scout him pretty much, follows him all the way to his home. He even ends up having to call a retired basketballer who's from Spain as well, I think, that he presumes the guy will recognize, to verify his identity, that he's not a fake or anything, that he's really a scout for the NBA and everything. So upon seeing the famous face, the guy agrees that okay, you're legit, and he allows him into his home. The guy lives with his young daughter and his mother. So they proceed to tell him about his life and everything, and he's really intrigued by this young man, and he believes he has found a star, right? He wants to test him out a little bit before taking him back to America. So he plans out a whole trial with some of the people from the Spanish basketball team for the next day, and tells the guy to come through. This film shows a lot of the structure it takes to even get into the NBA. It's a lot of networking, guys. So the fact that he had to go outside of the system to find this guy shows just how life sometimes is. What you're looking for is really sometimes not in the system. Sometimes it's out in the wild. And he really wasn't specifically going for the wild. He really stumbled upon the guy out in the wild because the person he came for wasn't even there. If the guy he came for to Spain was there, he wouldn't have met this other guy because he would have been too busy with the person who's already in the system. So it shows a lot that at least with the American NBA, you have to know the right people to be able to get in. They are not really looking out for everybody. They're just looking out for those who have understood the structure and have done the work to place themselves in the structure, waiting for their opportunity to be picked. Those are the kind of people they are majorly looking out for. And it's once in a blue moon that they venture out of their structure to find some rare gem. And this guy happened to be one of them. He was not in the structure. He was a construction worker at daytime, and played basketball at night because it's something he really loved. But he still had to support his daughter. He still had to support his mother. So he had to be a construction worker. He couldn't even afford sneakers. The shoes he was playing with, could end up giving him an injury. Even there was a point in the film where Adam had to get him Kobe sneakers because he didn't have any himself, and not wearing the right shoes is one of the fastest ways to get injured, and getting injured reduces your profitability to the team and everything. So he was really outside of the structure and outside of the system. So even Mr. Adam taking him back to America was on a leap of faith because his team would not have the guy because the guy was. Yeah, so even Adam hiring him or taking him back to the US was a leap of faith. Even the 76ers wouldn't have him after watching his footages that Adam sent from Spain, to know, okay, are you game? Are you into this guy coming back? The guy wouldn't the new boss, his name is Vin. Vin wouldn't even have it. Vin wanted him to keep looking because the guy was not in the system. So this movie really shows to some extent how difficult it is for somebody who's not even in the system to get in, if ever they do, because it was really difficult to sell this guy to the system, to the structure of the American NBA. Many of them wouldn't have it, and the fact that somewhere in the film it was discovered, especially at the airport, that he had a record. He had physical assault record, violent record. So it also limited a lot of how much they progressed. Anytime, somebody would express faith in him and want to sign him, that whole record would come up again, and everyone will feel, very reluctant to go forward with helping the guy. So it really, this movie showed a lot. If you're trying to be a basketballer, I do suggest watching Hustle because it shows you the do's and don'ts. If you are sure you want to have a smooth ride, be a peacemaker, be a peace lover, never get yourself in trouble to be to have your name on some record or some crime you've committed. It would slow down. Many of the people that had faith in him kind of started regretting that. They really had to push a lot to get him through, and Adam actually had to fund him coming to the US. Adam and his wife, it was Queen Latifah who played his wife in this film, and let me just tell you, Queen Latifah is like one of my personal favorite actresses of all time. I've been watching her since a long time, and she just seems to be the right pick for basketball films for some reason. There's a different film she did with Common, the rapper, the US rapper, also a basketball film. So seeing her in this one was kind of cool. She played his wife in the role. A multiracial couple and everything. I guess they were trying to be inclusive with that, and that was kind of cool to see. So at first this Vin wouldn't sponsor bringing back his name. The name of the athlete is Bo Cruz. Vin wouldn't even sponsor Bo Cruz coming back to the US. He felt like Bo Cruz couldn't do it since Bo Cruz wasn't in the system. So it took Adam sponsoring the plane ticket back to the US, even calling the lawyer that would help sort out his criminal record situation at the airport, because he was pulled aside, at the airport and held there until Adam had to call one of the lawyers of the 76ers who came through and helped sort that out. He tried to pay the guy on the low, but the guy still reported to Vin, so Vin kind of knew that Adam had smuggled Bo Cruz on his own, pay back to the US and everything. He had to sponsor Bo Cruz's hotel room, all his meals, everything. He would wake up 4 a.m., drive his car all the way to his hotel room to come train him. They would go to this particular street, and it was a hill-like street, so he'd tell him to run till you get to the top of the street, and they were trying to angle it at a particular time, so they're trying to see that he runs, and he runs fast. He had to get this basketball court and get this basketball training guys that helped train him in speed and accuracy and being able to tackle and how to still push through when being attacked and all of that. It was a lot, you guys. This film, I feel, is the most transparent view into what it is to be a basketballer in 2023. They showed everything, you guys. These people train like crazy. I almost think they're not human anymore, that they are able to even endure all that pain, because their body is not used to that. So your body will definitely revolt to that kind of strain put on it all of a sudden. So for them to push through and do that on a consistent basis every single day is crazy. There were times he's in the gym, times he's at the court, times he's running up the hill, from 4 a.m. every morning. They were trying to prepare for this showcase called the Combine, where people who are not yet in the NBA, who are trying to get in, that feel like they're ready, that also have the right person in, because you can't just get into the Combine because you want to go. It also boils down to the networking, because Adam, he had already played basketball beforehand, so he's a former basketballer turned scout. So he kind of knew all the former basketballers who had now become agents and kind of were now running the system, sort of. So because of that, he could call up his guys and be like, hey, I have this athlete, when it's a combine happening, can you get me into the combine? And they always came through for him. So this is his networking, and the fact that he was in the system, even though Bo Cruz was not in the system, kind of helped. Bo Cruz was appearing a lot in the right places. The right cameras were capturing him. So to some extent, he got there faster than if it was somebody who didn't have anybody in the system. He was televised a lot. His name kept coming up a lot, and that also helped. The fact that he was consistent, no matter how much he effed up in one point, it won't stop him. The next camera that comes up, he's right there again. He proved it, and even though he had a record that could have stopped him, it didn't at the end of the day stop him. He still pulled through and ended up good at the end of the day. So And then another thing that came through is, as much as he was a great athlete, he had anger problems. Like, his daughter is a very sensitive topic for him, because of, like, it also is the reason why he even got the criminal record in the first place. Like, he had a relationship with a woman, she got pregnant just while he was going off to sign with the Atlanta Hawks, I think that's what they're called. So he didn't go off any longer. He stayed behind to be a dad to the daughter. Of course, he and the lady broke up, so he took custody of the child. She started dating somebody else, and this guy now put it in her head that if she found a way to get sole custody of the child, that he should be able to earn government support, government money on the child. Upon hearing this, Bo Cruz goes to the guy's house to sort of confront him, like, why would you put this in my baby mama's head? And it ends up being an altercation that gets him the criminal record. That's how he got the criminal record in the first place. And so him now appearing in all these cool places, being able to get a spot and a chance at signing to the NBA, he meets this African American guy. Okay, so it's kind of cool in a way that they were okay with making a black guy the bad guy, I have to say, because with some of these films, because of just the gender and race thing, it almost makes it seem as if we just want to push black people into the positive light so much because of how much bad press or non-press we've gotten. But I'm happy that with LeBron James at the head of this production, he was okay with, you know what, yes, we've gotten no press at some point, we've gotten bad press at some point, but this story needs a villain. And it's okay if a black person plays that villain. And it turned out to be a fellow black basketballer who was also trying to get picked, by an NBA team. So he shows up for the combine, right? He's in position to play, and this guy next to him is like, okay, so where are you from? What's your name? He says his name to this stranger and where he's from, and the guy then proceeds to start beating down his country, starts trying to literally verbally blackmail him, mentally blackmail him. It's a lot. The guy has a lot of like insults to throw at him in between takes and everything. And Bo Cruz is not used to people insulting him while he plays, especially in the country he's been trying to come to and the game he's been trying to play. He's gotten close to his dream, so he's kind of a bit, shall I say, sensitive, and this guy plays on the fact that he's sensitive. And because the guy is insulting him all through the game, he really doesn't score anything, and there are a lot of big leagues and gatekeepers in the room, so he really doesn't make a great first impression actually, because this guy is in his head already, so he feels disappointed. Adam also feels disappointed. So Vin was also in the room, so Vin got to see Bo play, and for somebody you've been boasting about on the phone that he's good, to now come see the person play for the first time and he's not really that good, Adam kind of felt a type of way. But I have to give it to his friend Leon happened to be like his friend that was in the NBA too. They played together, but he didn't play as long as Leon played. So Leon played and is now a retired basketballer that is now a sport agent. So just Leon really played the role of an advisor and encourager to Adam all through his journey. Many times when it seemed like, damn, he can't make any headway, like he can't succeed at getting this guy through, like Leon will come through and be like, you can do this, like he's almost there, you are almost there. And he really encouraged him, and many of the top spots that it took knowing who was in charge to get into, it was Leon that Adam will call on every time, and Leon will really come through for him. And so Leon is out there telling him about his own situation, like when he was in the NBA, and how at first too he came in the game and thought, oh, he was on top and everything, but the first game too he didn't do so good. This other guy was really scoring on him, and he never played like that again, because he now understood that he has to get his mental state in check and can't let anybody in on his mind. And it also shows that this game is also a mental game. You have to have your mind in check. Just as you're training your body to be top notch, you have to train your mind to be top notch, because people can be mean. How he had enough time during play to even insult Bo Cruz is wild to me. this is a very taxing game. You should be figuring out where the ball is going and trying to get it to you and trying to score as much as possible to prove to these guys that you are the pick. And he still had time in between that to throw really direct insults at Bo Cruz, insulted his country, insulted him. It was a lie, you know. So, in the parking lot, Vin comes up to Adam and is like, you know what, I'm not signing this guy. Anything you've spent on him is all on you. I'm not gonna foot those bills. Adam looks at him and is like, you know what, I quit. I'm not going out on the road anymore. I'm not missing my child's birthdays for you. Like, you don't even pay me enough. I quit. He was so emotional in that scene, and I love it because passion has emotion in it. Like, you cannot be passionate and have all your emotions in check. I kind of low-key believe there has to be a point at which it shows. There's a crack to prove that this means so much to you. And I love the fact that Adam showed that in this film. I feel like this is one of the films he's acted in the most. Like, there was so much acting for him in this one, and it was so nice to see with the amount of acting he had to pull and how good he was at it. Like, there were so many things that tugged at this man's emotions, and he proved it every time. He was so passionate about it. He was passionate about Bo Cruz. He truly believed in the guy. So many of the times when even the guy will feel like, damn, this is the end of the road, he will be the one coming through and saying, no, we didn't come this far for nothing. Do you truly believe in this game? Are you really passionate? Are you obsessed with this game? And if you are, let's keep going. Like, he was really a father figure to Bo Cruz in this film, I have to say. It was also nice to see two men show that bro love and bro romance in a way. It was nice. It was real nice to see two men root for each other and see, love between them and everything, a father-son type of situation. So, he quits from the job and Vin walks away, and he turns to Leon, who was by his side all the while, and was like, you know what, can you get my guy in on the next game? It's a 3-month gap. Leon is like, you know what, I'll try. And so it's 3 months to the next big showcase, sort of, and he has to get Bo Cruz ready because now he knows the weaknesses of Bo Cruz, and he cannot afford to let Bo Cruz not get this. And if Bo Cruz doesn't get those weaknesses in check, he will not be able to get this at all. So it's training. That's when the 4 a.m. calls begin. He has to run up a hill. He has to then from there go on to some basketball court and train with some, assistant coaches and stuff, training different things. He has to train his arms to be quicker. He has to train his feet to be quicker. Even at a point, he begins to train him by insulting him just so he can get that mental block up and not be able to be affected by any insult anyone jabs at him at the court. Like, Adam Sandler literally starts insulting him while he's throwing shots. It's crazy. Insult him in English, goes on to insult him in Espanol and everything. It's a whole thing. Insult him, insult his mom, everything, just to help him build up that mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Wall, like security, to make sure that whatever anybody says doesn't get in to stop him from doing his job. Like, he can deal with all of that later, but right now, get the job done. So even calls in his daughter, who's a film major in school, to come and video them to get footages whilst he plays. The daughter is smitten with Bo Cruz at first, and it's a little funny scene in there. So she's the one videoing everything whilst he's playing, just so they can play back and look at his progress, and he too can see how much he's progressing and if he's not progressing. So it's a whole team. Like, there's even a point at which they call this basketballers to help him train with his tackling of the ball, and he has to train in that because since he's such a tall guy, he's sometimes slower than the average person. So he had to train in his handling of the ball. That way he's better at it. It's just so much technicality to it that it really does full on represent as a full on basketball in your movie and everything. And I got to see things I've never seen before, things I didn't even know basketballers went through. Like, it's crazy. Even there's so many iconic scenes in there. And you got even one time he's running in the rain, y'all. Like, come rain, come shine, he's running. he's training no matter what. It's a whole lot of training, but he does get better. He does get faster, and he gets to the point at which they want him to get to, which is him faster, him more precise, and him literally a brick wall out there and not easily affected. Or so they thought. And somehow it's closer to the combine. He's to the next showcase, and he's really good now, but he's still somehow sad. So Adam doesn't understand why he's sad now and everything. So Adam talks to his wife about it, and the wife is like, it's probably because he hasn't seen his child in 3 or 4 months. He has never been away from her since she was born, so it's probably taking its toll on him. Even though he's happy about how much he's progressing in his career, he's kind of unhappy with the fact that his child is not here with him. So Adam flies out his mom and his child to come see him. Bear in mind that Adam was also supporting his mother and his child every week with $500. Like, they really invested in Bo Cruz, you guys. They really did invest in the guy. They put their own money on the line because they had faith that he would get in, like it would be worth all the sacrifices, So yeah, they flew his mom and daughter out to see him, so he was really happy to see his daughter, and it proved to be the reason why he was so sad. There was even a scene where he had dinner at home with Adam, the wife, and the child, and he proceeds to ask Adam's wife, Queen Latifah, like, how did she meet Adam and everything, and it's a funny story, and everything. It's really crazy. And there's a scene where Adam then talks about himself, like how he ended up even becoming a scout, becoming a coach. He was a basketball player. He was built to become, the basketball player. And one night of getting drunk and driving drunk, ended that for him. He went to jail, and by the time he came out, he couldn't be a basketballer anymore, So he had to find some other job to do within the society, within the sports, the basketball sport and everything, and that ended up being a scout and an assistant coach. So yeah, that they really bonded as, I would say, father and son, like sharing woes and sharing victories and everything. So it was really nice to see that. And when the next showcase came, the same black guy was there again, and they had to play next to each other, and now his child was in the room. Oh Lord. At first, every jab the guy throws at him, because of his training, he really doesn't let it come through. So the guy is kind of frustrated because he's not winning. And it shows in the film too that to him, like, if he sees somebody who is somebody better than him, his solution to that is to insult the person, to bring down the person's walls. So if the person is shaking, he can then score. But if the person is at their game, he really can't score nothing. It showed, because when Bo Cruz didn't let his words pierce her, or he wasn't scoring anything, Bo Cruz was scoring all the points, and all the coaches were now interested in Bo Cruz. And also at that point, he scores a goal, and he then, makes a sign to his child, and his child makes a sign back, and this black guy sees the child in the crowd and smiles, and he's like, okay, I finally have you at where I need you. He then starts talking about the girl, talking about her mom, and boy, his face changes, and Adam, looking at his face, says, okay. Adam realizes that this guy has got him again, and he's trying to get the guy out of the play, that way he doesn't mess up or do something wrong. And the coach who's in charge of the showcase won't let Bo Cruz leave. He wants him to play and to really figure out if this guy is NBA worthy and whatnot. And the guy gets to Bo Cruz, and Bo Cruz literally makes a scene that stops the entire game, guys. So like, it's, it also proves that he wasn't really over the anger thing. I don't know. Maybe he cared about his child too much. But can you tell a parent not to care about their child? Like, can you judge a parent by how much they care about their child? I don't know. Can we dissect this a little bit in the comment section, guys? Because I kind of feel like his love for his child ended up being a kind of weakness for him that he, to be honest, never got over. Because this is towards the end of the film, and he was still riled up anytime anyone mentioned his child or mentioned his child's mother. The first thing that got him a record is still the same thing that almost prevented him from getting his dream. So to me, it's something that never left him. It was never addressed again past this point. But seeing that as he didn't overcome it at this point in the film, that means he probably for a bit will not be able to overcome it, and that makes me wonder. If somebody does their research on you and is trying to bring you down, figures out it's your kid, isn't that some kind of easy way to bring you down? Seeing, I don't know, just let's talk about it in the comment section. Let's figure it out together. If you're a parent, let's hear what you have to say. If you're not a parent, let's also hear what you have to say. Like, what you think about this. Was it right of Bo Cruz to love his child so much that he could literally punch a dude right in the middle of a game for his child? So and he was willing to risk everyone's effort just to defend his child over some stranger's remarks. So let's just hear what you have to say in the comment section. I'm down to hearing that. And before we get into it, have you subscribed yet? Subscribe, like, comment, share this video, and after this video, check out other episodes of ours that we have on the page, from our long span videos to our YouTube shorts. We have all of them on lock for you on this page, the Evermore 1993 YouTube channel. Evermore 1993 as one word YouTube channel, guys. Okay, back to the story. So this last altercation pretty much puts the nail in the coffin for Bo Cruz. Nobody wants to hear anything again. Then they all keep bringing up his criminal record and saying, you know what, this is why you don't allow strangers in, this is why you stick with the rules. Like, he then becomes the devil pretty much with this. And at this point, Adam also is resigned. And he puts Bo Cruz's mother and child on a plane, and Bo Cruz is up next on a plane, so to go back to Spain, because that's the end. He literally almost punched the black guy right there with all those cameras out. There's no explaining past that point. So yeah, they all say their sad goodbyes. And just at the airport, this is a movie with an airport scene. Leon calls again and is like, there's this game, but some of the old guys are putting together, no cameras or nothing, but like there are some execs here that can sign him off cameras and everything. So Adam is like, nah, I just put him on the plane. It's kind of over. And Leon will have it. Leon is like, is the plane in the air? If it's not in the air, then you can still get him back. So they are racing against time, and they get to the place just in time, and the same black guy is there again. But this time, Adam tells him, this is your last shot, so get it or don't get it. And so at this point, Bill Cruz gets it, even though the guy keeps insulting him and everything. He really, at this point, has dealt with the whole matter. There's not really a mention of the guy calling his child, so maybe the guy also regretted going that far, maybe. But the guy does keep throwing jabs at him, and it doesn't work. So at that scene, somebody from the Boston team was there. So the guy sees Bo Cruz play and comes up to Adam and is like, we might actually want to sign this guy. He's really good. And so the next scene we see is Adam in his position as assistant coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Yes, he finally became the coach. Vin was fired from his job as the leader because he didn't sign Bo Cruz, and he instead went on a reputation damaging media tour saying how Bo Cruz was, had a record and was brought in by, a fired staff and whatnot. So the board of directors thought to fire Vin and bring his sister in as the new head of the Philadelphia 76ers, and she went back to hire Adam, and everything. And because Vin was no longer in charge, Adam was more than happy to go back to the team. So he got back to the team. He's now the assistant coach. They show him walking out with the coach to a game between them and Bo Cruz's Boston game. So that's the next time we see Adam with Bo Cruz. It's at a game, him playing for the Boston team, and he walks up to Adam. It shows that he's wearing the same number that Adam used to wear when he was playing, which is 22, like in his way of honoring Adam. And then he has a new tattoo on his hand of what Adam used to tell him, which is never back down. So he really hugs Adam with so much love, like a son would hug a dad, pretty much. It was such a cool scene. Adam also tries to throw some jab in there and for Bo Cruz it's not working. They hug, they laugh, he gives him his advice to play hard and everything, and they hug again and separate parts and whatnot. And that shows that Adam succeeded in getting Bo Cruz in, and Bo Cruz got in, you guys, and Adam finally got what he always wanted, which is being an assistant coach. I just have to say before we end this, because that's the end of the film, that there was a scene in there that I really want to talk about. It's the scene where Bo Cruz, has finally finished his training. Adam is still trying to get him into cool places to play where, the main guys are at that make the decisions for the NBA and everything, and he's really having difficulties. So he's calling a lot of people that he used to relate with, and none of them are really giving him anything. And there's this particular guy he's screaming at on the phone. He's like, I used to speak as a guest speaker at your father's summer camp every single year, and I never asked him to pay. I never asked you to pay. This is the one thing I'm asking you to do for me, and you won't do it. And I do think that scene is one of the most iconic scenes in the entire film, period, because his voice is raised, he's really emotional, his voice is shaky, he's passionate, he's frustrated, and his wife, Queen Latifah, just really cautiously walks up to him, and just when he sees her walking up to him, he's trying to explain, and she just goes straight and hugs him, no words. Guys, I tell you, it's just so refreshing to see such a scene. She just hugs him, and right then he just calms down, and he's hugging back, and he's like he's been in the game for 30 years and yet he's nothing and everything. And upon hearing his voice screaming on the phone, of course their only child comes out of her bedroom upstairs. She comes to the stairways and she's looking, and she comes at the point where Queen Latifah comes up to hug Adam Sandler. And I just have to say, she was watching as her parents were hugging it out. She watched her dad frustrated, and she saw the response of her mother to her father's frustration. And the response was love. It wasn't a clap down or shut the hell up or anything like that. It was to comfort him, to understand him, to encourage him. And she saw her parents hugging, and I have to say, it's such an iconic visuals to give your children, just to let them know how to handle it when it comes to their own turn. Now that girl will not, growing up, at least for the most part, she knows what to do in such a situation. She knows also what to expect when she's in such a situation, and if somebody is not giving that to her, it will raise up red flags for her, because she would forever have this as the way to behave in her mind. And if somebody is not doing that, that person will be wrong forever in her mind, for the most part. It's so iconic and so exemplary and so refreshing to give children such an iconic visual about how to deal with frustration, about how to deal with the frustrations of those we love, of others around us. I really am happy that that scene was in the film, showing how parents should deal with things and how their children should catch them dealing with things. And Adam and Queen never knew that their daughter saw that scene, but she did. And now she knows how to deal with such a thing. Now she's seen her parents as not just strong all the time, but she's seen them weak, and she has seen that when somebody's weak, it's not to laugh at the person or beat them down, it's to raise them up. So she has no option but to do the same in her own life. She's on to a great start, finding a very healthy partner now, because she has seen the kind of partner her parents are to each other. She didn't see the father reject the hug of the mother or anything like that. No, he accepted the love and the tenderness Queen was bringing to him, and she was bringing that to him. Her instant reaction to him yelling on the phone was to comfort him, was to hug him and to show him it's okay. He's okay, he's loved, he's seen. And I think that was so nice to show, and I pray for that for me and my own family, and I pray that you can have that for your own family listening in. And I pray that this story time can encourage you to watch this for yourself. I honestly want to give this to you as a gift. Go watch this one and watch a film about passion, about basketball, about a lot of resilience, a lot of hard work, a lot of beat downs and rise ups, a lot of love and tenderness and support and faith. This film was about faith. Adam had faith. He spent his money when there was nothing coming in. There was a scene where the wife finally figured out that it wasn't the team that was handling the finance, and she freaked out. And he tried to calm her down, and she was like, "Okay, but this has to make sense, you know." So it was a leap of faith for this guy. He put himself out there to see that Bo Cruz got through. And I know that it's not always the situation for some. For some, the person doesn't come through and he makes it seem like you wasted your time and your effort. But for the few that it works out, it's kind of nice to see too, right? So it was really cool to see it work out for Bo Cruz and Adam in this film. And it's nice to see somebody who's not in the grain, somebody who was not even thought about, get into the grain and get into the team and really make it in there and everything. So this one was a really passionate watch for me. I just have such a soft spot for athletes, not because of anything, but just because of how hard they work. You know, I just think it's crazy how hard they work, and I just honestly want all of them to succeed because of how hard they work. It's just unreal. If somebody works that hard and still doesn't succeed, like, what else do you want me to do, you know? So it's really crazy how I wish they didn't have to work so hard. But then if they do finally work that hard, I want them to succeed at what they're doing, you know. So yeah, this has been the movie story time for the film, the American film Hustle, and I hope you have enjoyed it. You know, like we usually do on this channel, comment on this one, tell us who your favorite character was, who your least favorite character was, your favorite scene in the entire film, how you would have rather the film ended. You know, it's something that we do on this channel. Let us know in the comment section. We'll try to reply and respond to as many comments as we can. So subscribe, share, likes, and comment about this. Turn on post notifications, that way you know when we drop new videos. Also go on the Evermore 1993 as one word YouTube channel and check out all of our other offerings, from long span videos to short span videos and YouTube shorts, you know, on other movie story times and whatnot on the channel. We have so much on lock here. Support the brand. It's a brand new channel. I'm Stephanie, an Abuja based YouTuber, you know, in Abuja, Nigeria, West Africa, and this is the Evermore 1993 YouTube channel. Evermore 1993 as one word, guys. God bless you as you have stuck with us till the end. This is the end of the movie story time, guys. I hope you are on to watch other episodes that we have. Stay tuned and God bless. Make sure to love on God, fulfill the purposes of God as pertains to you upon the earth. Serve the purposes of humanity, and most importantly, love on yourself. Love on yourself, believe in yourself, take care of you. Take care of you. There's only one you. You are loved, you're valued.